everyone, welcome to a new tutorial. Today I'm making a scarf again, and it's a lacy scarf again, and it's a scarf worked with cotton yarn again. I worked this scarf along the length, not the width, but it can be worked either way. The stitches that I used for this pattern are chains, double crochets, treble crochets, and puff stitches. My scarf is 75 inches long and 8.5 inches wide, but you can make yours in any custom size you want. To make my scarf, I will use 3 skeins of this 100% mercerized cotton. It's DK category, and this cotton is by Patons. And each skein has 230 yards, so the total yardage for my scarf is about 690 yards. And I will work with a hook size D, which I believe is a 3.25 millimeters. I will make a small sample to demonstrate this stitch, but I will give you all the information needed to make the actual scarf. The starting chain must be a multiple of 4 plus 1. For my scarf, I started with 389 chains, but for my sample, I will start with 37 chains. One, 2, 3, 4. Here I have my 37 chains, and I'm ready to start my first row, which is going to be very simple because it's a row of double crochets. So into the first chain from the hook, I make my first double crochet. We never count the chain on the hook, we always start counting from the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here I make the first double crochet. These 3 chains will also count as a double crochet. And now I simply make a double crochet into each chain across. This is my first row, and here I have 35 double crochets, which is 2 less than what my starting chain was. But for the actual scarf, I started with 389 chains, and in my first row I had 387 double crochets. So if you would like to start this row with a row of foundation double crochets, you will need to make 387 of them. I turn my work, and now I'm ready to start row number 2. And I will start this row with a beginning treble. Alternatively, you can start with 4 chains, and those 4 chains will count as your first treble. But I want to start with a beginning treble. So I pull up the loop and I do yarn over twice. And this is my beginning treble. Now I make a treble into the next double crochet, and in this pattern I'm working my stitches directly into the double crochet over here, not just grabbing the 2 loops on the top, but I work over here because I want my stitches to be straightly aligned. Here I have 2 trebles next to each other. Next I make 1 chain and I skip next double crochet, and I make a treble into the next double crochet. Again 1 chain, I skip the next double crochet and I make a treble into the next one. And this is how this row goes. 1 chain, skip 1 double crochet, treble into the next one. Again 1 chain, skip next double crochet, treble into the next one. And I'll see you at the end of this row. Here at the end of this row I still have 1 stitch left, and I make a treble into that last stitch as well. So look over here, in the beginning of the row I have 2 trebles next to each other, and then at the end of the row I also have 2 trebles next to each other. I turn my work and I start row 3 either with a beginning double crochet or with 3 chains that will count as a double crochet. So I make a beginning double crochet into the very first treble. Then I make a double crochet into the next treble. Now I make a double crochet into the next treble, 1 chain, and now I will make a puff stitch around this double crochet that I just made. So yarn over, and this is where I insert the hook, right here, and I pull up a loop. Yarn over, into the same space I insert the hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over, same thing, and one more time. So I did that a total of 4 times. Now I have 8 loops and 1 chain on the hook. So I do yarn over and I draw yarn through 8 loops. Now I have 2 on the hook, yarn over, and I finish that stitch. Next I make a double crochet into the next treble. And this is what I have. Now this part of the pattern will start to repeat. I make a double crochet into the next treble, 1 chain, and I will make a puff stitch around this double crochet. And it's actually helpful to turn my work a little bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 2 and 1. And then a double crochet into the next treble. So you can see that these puff stitches are worked around these double crochets, and the puff stitches are also separated by 1 double crochet. And this is how this row goes. I'll show it one more time. Into the next treble I make a double crochet, then 1 chain, and then a puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a double crochet into the next treble. And this is how you crochet this row, and I'll see you at the end of it. Here I am at the end of this row. I have 1 treble left, and I finish with a double crochet into that last treble. So in the beginning of the row I have 2 double crochets next to each other, and at the end of this row I have 2 double crochets next to each other. I turn my work and I start the next row with a beginning treble, or you can start with 4 chains, will count as a treble. Into the very first double crochet I make my treble. Next I make a treble into the next double crochet. Next 1 chain, and now I will work a treble into the chain 1 space of this next puff stitch. So right here, this is where I will insert the hook. So yarn over twice and I make a treble. Then 1 chain. Now I make a treble into the next double crochet. One chain, and again I make a treble into that chain 1 space above this next puff stitch. one chain and a treble into the next double crochet. And this is how this row goes. It's gonna be a treble, chain one, treble, chain one. And at the end, I still have one double crochet, and I finish with a treble into that last double crochet. So I have two trebles next to each other in the beginning of the row, then chain one, one treble, chain one treble, and at the end of the row I have two trebles next to each other again. I turn my work and I start row number 5 with a beginning double crochet, or you can start it with 3 chains. Next, I make a double crochet into the next treble. Now I make a double crochet into the next chain. Again, a double crochet into the next treble. And a double crochet into the next chain, and note here that I'm making my double crochet directly into the chain and not the chain space. And that's how this row goes. It's simply a row of double crochets worked into each treble and into each chain one. And here I finished row number 5, which was a row of double crochets. And from this point the pattern begins to repeat. So I need to work rows 2 through 5 until I have the scarf of my desired width, and the last row must be a row of double crochets, which is row number 5. For my scarf I made a total of 17 rows, and my scarf came out 8.5 inches wide. And this is what it looks like once you will have more rows worked. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.